everyone, welcome to your week 2 homework. This week we are going to be doing pyramid pose. Okay, if you Google pyramid pose, it's going to look a little bit different. We're doing a modification with the chair today. So go grab yourself a chair if you don't have one already, and get right back here. Okay? So when you're ready to begin, you're going to come to the back of your mat. You can take a step forward with your right foot, 2-3 feet from your back foot to your front foot, and your feet are hips width apart. Okay, not in one line like a model walk. Nice and firm, wide base in line with your hips. Okay, you want to have your legs straight but not locked. So notice that front knee, it'll have a tendency to kind of cave in and dump into the joint there. You want to keep your thigh or quadricep active, and you'll notice when your leg is locked, your kneecap will be really soft, and when your leg is engaged, your thigh muscles will be drawing the kneecap up. Okay, so just be mindful of your knees. Both the feet are really firm. If you find that your stance is really wide and your back heel is picking up, so you can drag your back foot in enough so that your feet are planted. And have your chair in closer towards you as well. Okay, and so we'll start with your hands on your hips. And just take a deep breath in, then an exhale out. Now see if you can imagine your hands being this bar in front of your hips. And with your inhale, using your own hands, imagine you're coming over this bar, hinging from the hips. Your right hip especially wants to move forward in this pose, so especially draw your right hip back. That'll keep your hips square. So deep breath in, coming forward. And with your exhale, begin to hinge. And what I mean by hinge is your pelvis hinging, okay? If your pelvis is stuck here and you're just reaching down, rounding through the back, you need to bend the front knee so that you can stick your butt out behind you, okay? Lifting the tailbone up so that you can hinge forward from your hip. It's all about the pelvis here. It's not so much about how far your arms come down, which is why using a chair is really great. So once you've got your hands on the chair, see if you can inhale, draw your right hip back like you're coming over that bar, and lift the tailbone up. As you exhale, you can come down a little further. Maybe walking the chair away or even coming down onto your forearms. So common problems here are really rounding through the back because of tightness and just in the general back body. You can take a bend in your front knee and focus on lifting your tailbone up. The stretch comes from both ends, right? So if you're lifting the tailbone up, you're lengthening the back body that way, just as much as rounding your heel down lengthens the back body. So from here, you really want to pull the right hip, your tailbone, right from the center up, okay? We talked about this in class a bit. Basically sticking your butt out behind you. It's a good way to think about it. And as you do that, you'll also feel your back foot ground down. So once you get there, I want you to really feel the breath in your body. With your inhale, feel your torso expand, your belly, maybe even your rib cage. And then with your exhale, find a little bit more space to soften down. Maybe even letting your head go. Notice if you've locked your knee, take a little micro bend in that front knee, and breathe. You're feeling a lot of sensation here. Just keep breathing into that. If you want to come further, you can take your left forearm and just turn your fingertips over to the right. Take your right hand to your low back. With your inhale, draw your right hip back as you reach the crown of the head forward. And then with your exhale, you can twist. Take a few breaths here. And beyond that, you can even extend your arm up. If you have a lot of mobility here, you can take your hand down to a block or maybe even your mat. Okay? If you Googled pyramid pose, this is probably more what it would look like. Okay, so find the modification that works for you. You know, I've been doing hip pose for a number of years now, and using this chair and still breathing into this, it's just as intense as any other version. It's all about where you're pulling your muscles, your muscular energy too. So if you have the awareness of pulling everything in line, you're going to get a good stretch wherever you are. Okay? To come out, take your hands to your hips, engage your core, lift up. And switch sides. So left foot forward, right foot back, hands to your hips. Imagine that bar in front of you. If you're inhale, lengthen up, and exhale, over, hinging from the hips. Bend the knee if you need to. And take your hands down to your chair. Breathe here. Notice the left hip, it's probably trying to creep forward, draw it back. If you find the weight of your foot is rolling to the outer edge, really focus on the four corners of your feet. Press down into the big toe mound. Notice if you're holding rigid through your shoulders, you can soften them down, maybe lowering onto your forearms, maybe letting the back of the neck go, and then breathe here. Remember, this is all about the pelvis, so lifting your tailbone up with your inhale. That should then intensify whatever sensation is going on in the back of the left leg here. And with your exhale, find a little bit more space to come down. You want to take the twist here as well. You drop your right forearm down, fingertips towards the left, or the direction that you're twisting. Your left hand to your low back. See if you can draw your left hip back. Okay, feel the length in your spine. And then with your exhale, you can twist. Maybe even reaching your arm up, or you can leave the hand on the low back. And breathe here. To the center, take a few breaths there. When you're ready to come out, hands to your hips, engage your legs, come all the way up. And that's the homework for this week. So if you can do that once, twice, every day in the morning when you wake up or before you go to bed, it's also a great thing to do at the office if you're feeling kind of creaky. So yeah, see if you can fit this in wherever you can this week and enjoy it. Enjoy your breath and just feel the movement that creates in your body. Okay, have a great week. Namaste.